So this is going to be our unboxing and a little bit of a look and a review of the newest Blue Yeti microphone, which just arrived today. This is the Midnight Blue edition, and this is not the Pro, but this is the other one. And this is the outside of the box, telling a little bit about the Yeti. Over here you've got some of the features of the microphone. So anyway, we're going to open this up, take it out of the box, and have our first look at it. And in here we have a cord, and we'll go ahead and open this up. And so this is a USB to a mini USB cord, and looks like it's fairly long. I'm guessing it's probably 4 or 5 feet long, and this is what you use to connect to the microphone and your probably computer. Yeah, this is a very long cord. Yeah, this is probably 6 or 7 feet long. Looks like plenty of cord. We have some paperwork here. Now in here, and I think we're going to have to take this out as such. So the microphone itself, and it's still plenty heavy, is encased in a nice little protective styrofoam container. So here's our microphone in a little silica gel packet. So we'll put this aside. And here is the microphone itself. And yes, indeed, this is one heavy microphone, and it's big. Other reviewers have mentioned this, and I have to concur. This is a very big microphone. It comes in a nice little stand, and these little knobs on the side here, these are used to secure the microphone in the stand. So as long as we've got it here, this is the bottom. You have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, or you can plug a headphone in here. Over here we have a little port for the mini USB cord, which is right here. So this will plug in here, and of course the other end plugs into your computer, and we're going to demonstrate that a little bit later. We also have a threaded port here for setting this on like a regular microphone stand. Okay, so this obviously is a pretty heavy microphone, so we're going to weigh this and see how much it actually weighs. There, we got it all zeroed out, and let's see what this weighs now. Alright, it's coming out to, hopefully you can see that, 2 pounds, 14.8 ounces. So that's pretty hefty. 2 pounds, 14.8 ounces. Okay, we know how much it weighs, and it's pretty hefty. But let's do a measurement here and give you some idea of the size of this. So this is going to measure fully extended out, where you'd probably be using it, to the bottom of the stand about 11 3/4 inches, almost 12 inches or 1 foot. So yeah, it's pretty hefty. On the front of it here, you have your blue emblem. Right below that you have a mute button where you can turn off the microphone, mute it. And underneath that we have a volume control, and that's presumably to control the volume, as there is a symbol, headset symbol. So that's controlling your output volume. And on the back side we have a gain knob control to adjust the sensitivity of the microphone. And down here below that we have your settings. There's 4 different settings for however you want the pattern to be. Alright, we're going to do the rest of this doing a voiceover using the Blue Yeti microphone to let you hear the sound quality. I was just using the camera microphone before. I have the Blue Yeti hooked up to my laptop, and I'm wearing a pair of headphones, so I'm hearing live without any latency whatsoever directly from what the microphone is picking up. And I gotta say, it sounds really, really great. So let's go over some of the 4 settings here. Now currently I have it set in the stereo mode, and by the way, my gain is set, in other words, the sensitivity of the microphone, the gain is set at 50%. And so now we're in the stereo mode, so we're going to turn this. Okay, so this is the left side here, and we're going to turn it around. This is center, and over here we have the right side. So that's the stereo mode, and picks up kind of from the front and the sides a little bit, but it does sound good. It gives you some pretty decent separation. Now we're going to change this to the next setting, which is the omnidirectional. So that means the mic is going to pick up 360 degrees around the entire mic, not from the top. Again, this mic is not designed to speak directly into the top. It's made to pick up from the sides. But in the omnidirectional mode, it picks up 360 degrees pretty much equally. And we're going to go to the third one, which is the cardioid. So it's going to primarily pick up from the front. Little bit on, the pattern kind of comes out like this, and you pick up some from the side, virtually nothing from the back, but primarily right from the front. And again, with this microphone, you want to speak directly into the front side of this, in this cardioid mode anyway. So now let's switch to the 4th and final one. Okay, this is the bidirectional mode. What that means is it picks up pretty much equally from the front as well as the rear. A little bit of bleed over on the sides, but principally from the front or the rear. Now, of course, we're speaking into the front. Now let's turn it around. Okay, now we're speaking into the rear, and the gain setting is the same and everything. What I've noticed, and I don't know, maybe it's just my voice, but I've noticed that in the bidirectional mode, speaking into the rear, it seems to be richer and fuller, and I kind of like it better than the front side, but we're going to turn it around. And in fact, while we're back here, we're going to switch it back over to the cardioid mode. So again, the cardioid doesn't pick up much from the rear, but when you turn it around, speak directly into the front, yeah, then it picks up quite a bit of good sound. So those are the 4 modes that this microphone has, and they all work really, really well, and they all sound good. But depending upon what you're going to be doing, you may want to use a little bit different mode for your particular setting. And now, one thing you might want to buy or invest in is one of two things. One would be like it's called a pop filter. And what that does is help eliminate, and the pop filter is generally it's a flat fine mesh screen that sits out in front of the microphone, between the microphone and you, and but it's flat, and it just primarily is effective right from the front. But what it does, certain letters and words, especially things that start with a P, and I'll try to demonstrate that here. Paul, Paul, Peter, Peter. You could probably hear a little. It's actually, when I pronunciate that letter in those words, it puts a breath of air against the microphone, and if you have a fairly sensitive microphone, it'll pick that up, and that's kind of called a pop. But so a pop filter's a good thing, but it's pretty much only good in a studio or inside. What I did is I bought this foam filter, and I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to mute the mic here while I'm putting this on. Okay, so anyway, the foam filter pretty much does the same thing. You don't hear those breath coming out. So P, P, Paul, Paul. So it gives you, by eliminating that pop, it makes it sound quite a bit better. Now, a foam filter can work 360, so if you're doing the omnidirectional mode, it'll be effective 360. So it's good for indoor, but especially good for outdoor. If you're outside and you're doing some recording and there's a breeze or something, you're going to, especially with a sensitive microphone, you're going to pick up some wind noise from being outside. If you use a foam filter, however, it's going to eliminate a lot of that. And so a foam filter generally is a little bit cheaper to buy, and if it gets damaged, you're not out a whole lot of money. You can buy another one. But it'll work inside as well as outside, so a foam filter is good. Now I want to demonstrate the mute feature here. Now you should be able to see right here, there's a little button, which is the mute button, and it has a red light. Now a mute button sometimes, professionally, it's called a cough button or maybe a sneeze button. So you may, if you're doing a podcast or something and you don't want to be coughing or clearing your throat or sneezing, you can use the mute button. And notice that the red light is solid. Now I'm going to demonstrate this, and I'm going to kind of continue to talk here, but I'm going to hit the mute button. So anyway, when I hit the mute button, I was pointing at it. You should have seen that little red light flashing. I'm going to do it again, and we'll demonstrate it here. So, hello. So you heard it mute, and you should have noticed that the solid red light, when I hit the mute button, it was flashing red. So that gives you an indication that it's muted. And of course, wearing the headphones here and hearing directly from the microphone, as soon as I hit the mute button, it was absolutely silent. No sound at all. So that's the mute button. So I'm very impressed with this microphone. I got to tell you, it's a very professional sounding microphone. I love the 4 different settings you can use on it, and the mute button's really cool. But the sound quality of this microphone is really, really good, and I'm very impressed with it. It's solid metal, which is one reason it's heavy. There's very little plastic on it. These little knobs here to tighten the microphone in the stand, they're plastic, but other than that, it's pretty much all metal. So again, it weighs almost 3 pounds, but and it's big. It's about, from the base of the stand up, it's about almost 12 inches. But anyway, it's a good quality microphone, and I'm very impressed with it. So that's my review of the new Blue Yeti Midnight Blue Edition microphone. So again, I'm very impressed with it, and I certainly would recommend it. and I think it sounds great. So thanks for watching.